As the Diddy trial is opening up, people keep making this all about Diddy rather than looking at everything that's happening around it. There's a lot of people that want to protect the Diddy agenda because it serves them, because allegedly they're all accomplices. Like I said last year, after the Cassie Diddy case was made public for the world to see on CNN.
If Kim Porter hadn't done what she done, there would be no Cassie to testify.
You know, Mr. Combs, SC and SC, thing one and thing two. They've been covering each other's ass a long time, guys. Y'all don't see what's going on? The death of Angie Stone, Clive Davis, Diddy, Rock Nation on the verge of utter collapse. What happened to Tory? Find a way to blame it on him. Now all of a sudden he was trying to start a race. Just so happens that he gets half the day. As the Diddy trial is opening up.
See, they trying to set him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present that tape.
Jaguar Wright continues to speak out against Sean Diddy Combs, recently making headlines for appearing at his trial and presenting prosecutors with never-before-seen footage allegedly involving Diddy and Briar Gray during a time when Gray was underage. Jaguar has been vocal about these concerns long before Diddy's recent legal troubles began, and she is determined to bring attention to the situation in hopes of seeking justice. According to recent reports, Jaguar Wright also took the stand and testified against Diddy. Her statements were detailed and serious, backed by evidence that she claims supports her accusations. The courtroom testimony has added to the growing list of allegations surrounding the music mogul. Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, has been facing multiple controversies for some time. His arrest in September 2024 brought even more scrutiny, and as the case unfolds, new revelations continue to emerge. During her testimony, Jaguar Wright also spoke about Diddy's personal health and his past associations, including his longtime connection with fellow artist Jay-Z.
Where the defense was asking Don Richard, which, as you know, was a member of Danity Kane, and another group that Combs had from 2004 to 2011. And what we heard today was Don Richard admitting that she was not sure why she didn't make some of her proclamations of who was at a party during an alleged assault. She said that she didn't know why she didn't say certain things in previous interviews with prosecutors.
Right. And some of those people that she failed to mention were A-list celebrities.
A-list celebrities, that's right. So there was an instance where Don Richard mentions an assault that happened at a restaurant. And she mentioned some of the names of people that Combs worked with. But when the defense asked her, well, what about the celebrities? You said there were celebrities there. Why didn't you mention those names? And she said she wasn't sure.
Wow.
But some of those names were Usher, Jimmy Iovine, she said, and Neo. She remembers being there.
You described today in the cross with the defense and Dawn as being ping pong. How so?
Yeah, so I think that it was such a rapid fire of questions from the defense when she was asking Don Richard about some of those inconsistencies that you could literally see the jurors looking back and forth at the defense and then at Don Richard. So that was the first time that I had seen that, as there was so much quick back and forth when the defense was making her arguments to Don Richard and questions really about some of those inconsistencies.
Wow. So Dawn finished her testimony today. She claims at one point that Diddy had hit Cassie with a skillet and said, quote, he said you could go missing, that we could die. So what was the reaction in court to that statement?
Yeah, so just to kind of set up the scene, the defense was saying...
During her testimony, Jaguar Wright made a serious claim regarding Sean Diddy Combs' health, stating that he had been diagnosed with a medical condition and allegedly chose not to disclose it. She expressed concern over the way the situation was handled, noting that despite being aware of his diagnosis, he continued his usual lifestyle without making it public. Wright further mentioned that this was not an isolated case, stating she personally knew of others in similar situations. Without naming individuals in her public statements, she indicated that she submitted a list of names along with related video and audio recordings to the court as part of her evidence.
He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
We need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Think of the power of that moment.
Jaguar Wright continues to speak out boldly against Sean Diddy Combs. Recently, she made headlines by appearing at his trial and reportedly submitting previously unseen video evidence to prosecutors involving Diddy and Bryce Gray from a time when Gray was underage. Wright has long voiced concerns about this situation and remains determined to hold those involved accountable. In addition to her statements about Diddy, Wright also made a surprising claim regarding his relationship with Jay-Z. While Jay-Z and his legal team have maintained that their connection was strictly professional, Wright suggested otherwise, alleging that their friendship extended beyond business. She further criticized Diddy's long-standing influence in the music industry, describing it as harmful and calling into question the support he allegedly received from industry powerhouses like Clive Davis and Lucian Grange. According to Wright, Diddy was part of a system that, in her view, promoted exploitation and control within the culture, ultimately doing more harm than good over the past 3 decades.
It's a hit. It would have done great for her. She should have tried it on. Tammy Wynette. Classic. Stand by your man. Don't act like you don't know that. Remake that. Stand by that. That's a real country hit. Jolene, nice. But it has a ring to it. Stand by your man. Yeah. Whoops you and disrespects you with other like Kathy Coriana White.
All right, well, let's do it like
who
this.
was actually carrying his baby while you was faking it. Why your husband don't want to put his seed inside of you? He put it in everybody else. Wild in this world, yo.
It's funny, you open up Beyonce's internet, it just gets weird.
Beyonce's internet.
That's what we're calling
that
it.
That belongs to the devil. Unless you calling that the devil, she ain't nothing but an employee.
Oh.
And half of which dumbass bitch.
So, you know, it's funny that it's crazy you say these things.
Why don't nobody want to accept that bitch bitch?
I think
she went and killed the girl Cats.
Okay.
A girl went to court.
This harmful system has negatively impacted our culture and society for far too long. It's time to stop protecting powerful individuals who misuse their influence, Jaguar Wright stated as she called for meaningful reform within the entertainment industry. Sean Diddy Combs appears to be facing increasing legal and public scrutiny, with his situation becoming more complicated over time. As the high-profile music mogul remains in custody, more individuals are coming forward to speak out, not only against him, but also against others in his circle. Public attention has now extended to some of his well-known associates, including Beyoncé and Jay-Z, raising further questions about the
First time I saw it was in a music studio. Like every other industry. First time I saw Paris Hilton's tape, A Night in Paris, was in the studio. The first time I saw Mary J. Blige being gagged on camera at Death Row after hours was in the studio.
And now, Jack, you spoke on Piers Morgan saying that you used to be in this world.
Yeah.
Of the sex worker world, and you've seen kind of the depravity that the human mind could go to.
You want to know one of the reasons why I was able to put myself in position to get the deal that I got?
Yeah.
Because of my sex work. See, I had just enough dirt on the right person to get me past Hank Shockley, who was blocking me to protect Mary J. Blige's very fragile image.
Oof. So let me ask.
Listen to me.
Please.
Prostitute and actress meant the same thing in 1865. If you were called an actress, that meant you were a prostitute. See, it's the evolution of.
Yeah.
Look at.
Singer Jaguar Wright has stirred major public attention with her recent statements involving Sean, Diddy Combs, Jay-Z, and Beyoncé. If her claims prove to be accurate, Diddy's arrest may just be the beginning of a much larger story. According to Wright, Diddy allegedly possesses recordings involving influential figures, and she believes that as pressure mounts, he may begin revealing information that could send shockwaves through the entertainment industry. Her statements have sparked widespread speculation, suggesting that more revelations may soon come to light.
This criminal case. How is it that Cassandra Ventura Fine, the star witness, alleged victim number one, whose testimony may make or break the government's case, how is it she can claim she's a survivor of Sean Combs' alleged sex trafficking when there is arguably evidence establishing she set up these sexual encounters, encouraged them, didn't leave Combs, and even was intimate with him after he allegedly raped her? Well, it may all come down to understanding trauma, coping, and important psychological considerations. And that is why we are bringing in now a mental health expert to understand these factors and what the jury may decide. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Webb. Hey everybody, this is another Law and Crime legal alert. If you received Depo-Provera birth control shots and were later diagnosed with a brain or spinal tumor called meningioma, you may be eligible for a lawsuit. You see, Morgan & Morgan is investigating claims that patients weren't properly warned about this risk. It's free to check, just takes a few minutes, and you don't pay unless they win. So scan the QR code on screen, click the link below, or head over to forthepeople.com/LCDepo to see if you qualify. So one of the biggest questions to come out of the testimony of Cassandra Ventura, now Cassandra Ventura Fine, arguably the government's star witness in its criminal racketeering, sex trafficking, prostitution case against Sean Diddy Combs, is how can she say she's a victim if she spent so much time with Combs? How can she claim she was a victim of sex trafficking and was coerced into elaborate sexual performances with sex workers if she allegedly helped set them up? You have to imagine the prosecution knew that all of these past messages she had with Combs and her seemingly staying with him for, 11 years, would be a big focus of her cross-examination by Combs' defense counsel, and it certainly was.
Recently, Jaguar Wright appeared on Piers Morgan Uncensored for a candid and intense conversation where she made a number of bold claims that have drawn significant attention. Her statements touched on major figures in the music industry and offered perspectives that are both controversial and deeply provocative. During the interview, Wright referred to certain celebrity relationships in a critical tone, and she suggested that the Me Too movement may have been used strategically within the industry. Specifically, she alleged that Jay-Z, also known as Sean Carter, played a role in directing attention toward R. Kelly in an effort to have him prosecuted and removed from the spotlight. These claims, though unverified, have added yet another layer of complexity to the ongoing discussions about power, accountability, and influence within the entertainment world.
Sean P. Diddy Combs' family arrived for day one of his sex trafficking trial.
How is your father feeling today?
They walked into the federal courthouse in Manhattan, hand in hand, in a gesture of solidarity. Diddy's 85-year-old mom, Janice Combs, arrived separately.
The whole entire family will be here today. Yeah.
It was a family affair inside the courtroom. Diddy entered the court wearing a white shirt and a casual crew neck sweater. He faced his mom and his kids and placed his hand on his heart, made a symbol of the heart with his fingers, and blew them a kiss. In her opening statement, the prosecutor told the jury Diddy called himself the king and expected to be treated like one. She showed the jury this notorious surveillance video, which shows Diddy viciously beating his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, the star prosecution witness. The first witness was a former hotel security guard who says he saw Cassie Ventura nursing a black eye after that attack. He says Diddy offered him a wad of cash, enough to fit between his thumb and his pinky, to stay quiet about the incident. The prosecutor said that Diddy threatened to release videos showing Ventura having sex with him and other men, calling them the most humiliating nights of her life. The jury that was sworn in today consists of 8 men and 4 women. The youngest is 30. The oldest is 75. It's a racially diverse group and includes 4 white and 5 black men and women. I spoke with jury consultant and attorney Claudia Colon.
The more different people are, the more likely they're going to argue in the deliberation room, and that's exactly what the defense wants.
Diddy's defense attorney told him to stand and face the jury. She introduced him as plain Sean Combs.
Combs, who was seen reading the Bible in court, has denied the charges against him. He faces life in prison.
Jaguar Wright also mentioned producer Dream Hampton during her interview, noting her involvement in the surviving R. Kelly documentary, a project widely credited with amplifying the Me Too movement in the music industry. Wright expressed strong opinions, alleging that the movement was manipulated for ulterior motives. She claimed, without evidence, that the campaign was financially supported by Sean Carter, also known as Jay-Z, with the intent of ensuring R. Kelly's imprisonment. Wright went on to question the silence of Jay-Z and Beyoncé in light of Sean Diddy Combs' legal troubles, referring to their lack of public response as troubling. She further alleged that powerful figures in the industry, including the couple, had engaged in unethical behavior, accusing them of mistreating individuals behind the scenes, including claims of people being held against their will and transported while unconscious. These allegations remain unproven and have sparked considerable controversy, further fueling debate about accountability and power within the entertainment industry.
Was also given names of high-profile names like rapper Kid Cudi and Kanye West, Destiny's Child singer Michelle Williams, actors Mike Myers and Lauren London, and singer Don Richard, who previously signed to Combs' Bad Boy Records. According to some reports, Michael B. Jordan's name was brought up on the first day of jury selection as a pool of potential jurors were quizzed on their knowledge of a list of celebrities who could be referenced during the 8-week trial. According to Rolling Stone, Michael B. Jordan and Cassie spent time together in 2015 and is referenced in Ventura's November 2023 lawsuit against Combs. During a break in Combs' relationship with R&B singer, Ventura began a flirtatious relationship with an actor, now revealed to be Jordan. In 2015, according to her lawsuit, when Combs found out, he allegedly called the actor and threatened him.
Jaguar Wright has made further claims, stating that there could be thousands of individuals affected by misconduct in the entertainment industry. According to her, 3 individuals are currently willing to testify in court, not only about Sean Diddy Combs, but also regarding alleged wrongdoing involving Jay-Z and Beyoncé. She alleged that the couple engaged in unethical practices, including detaining individuals against their will and transporting them while unconscious. Wright even referenced the late singer Aaliyah, claiming she had once been put on a plane under similar circumstances, an assertion that has not been independently verified. Additionally, Wright mentioned more disturbing allegations involving surveillance tactics, such as phone tapping and the use of tracking devices on children, which she claims are connected to Diddy. These accusations have not been substantiated and remain part of an ongoing public discussion surrounding power and control within the industry.
Anything that Cassie is saying right now. What I do find interesting is that everyone is acting so surprised. What will I say about what he said? I think he's telling the absolute truth.
In her opening statement, the prosecutor described Sean Diddy Combs as someone who referred to himself as the king and expected to be treated accordingly. As part of the presentation to the jury, the prosecution introduced a surveillance video that allegedly shows Diddy physically assaulting his former partner, Cassie Ventura, who is now a key witness in the case. The video is expected to play a significant role in the trial, supporting the prosecution's narrative of a pattern of abusive behavior. Cassie Ventura's testimony is anticipated to be one of the most important elements in building the case against the music mogul.
Real life street stars, we are back with one of the most exclusive
Let's go.
type interviews with Jaguar Wright, to where this right here might be the chickens come home to roost interview, because we started a journey about 5 years ago, right before COVID, and you coming in to speak on the truths of the industry, things that at the time the real life street stars didn't quite have that access to, the type of stories you were giving us. Maybe we weren't even ready for it, but you were speaking on truths that go on behind the scenes that kind of blew a lot of our fans' minds, but it also intrigued a lot of people to know what more truth is out there. And as we started that journey 5 years ago, and even once, this lawsuit came about regarding Sean Combs, you were already speaking on things, telling Cassie that she needs to run and things of that nature before the world knew what you were talking about. So obviously you had some knowledge of things going on that the world should be looking at. And here we are. The trial has started. We have you on, and first and foremost, we have to say thank you for taking time out to come on. So we have to always do like we always do, is first ask, how are your spirits? How are you feeling? How are things?
So it's a weird space for me. I've been on this journey for 5 years. And sometimes I wonder. And then I stop, but then God will send me a message. And one of my drivers this week recognized me right away. He didn't know who he was going to be driving. They didn't tell him.
What Jaguar Wright and many others have expressed may hold truth, as it appears only a matter of time before more revelations come to light. Diddy's arrest could be the catalyst that causes the entire situation to unravel. Wright believes this is just the beginning, and that true justice will only be achieved when he and those connected to him are held accountable both publicly and legally. She described Diddy as a figure used to maintain control over the culture, referring to him as a Judas in this ongoing controversy. When asked by Piers Morgan whether Diddy might start disclosing information about others if pressured, Wright appeared confident that he would have little choice but to do so, though at the moment, he has been notably absent from public view.